Hello, thank you for coming. Robert Rico here, California Realty Training. So glad you made it to this week's video blog. We're so happy you're here. Today I want to discuss with you how us realtors get paid when it comes to our transactions. Now, unlike most professions that get paid by the hour, for example, an attorney or a doctor or something like that, us realtors, we don't get paid until we close a transaction. Whether you work with a buyer or a seller, there are many times, I'm talking several times, where you'll be spending hours and hours and hours with a buyer, or you'll be spending hours and hours and hours of time with a seller. And when it comes to the seller, you'll be spending many hours working on their listing and trying to sell the house, but you'll also be spending tons of money. This is the deal. The deal is if you don't close this transaction after spending all that time and after spending all that money, if you don't close that deal, you will not get paid. Now, we typically get paid a commission. That commission's bye-bye. It's no can do. You won't get to see it or touch it unless you actually close the transaction. Same thing with the buyer. Now with the buyer, what you'll be spending is this. You'll be spending time. You'll be spending possibly money because you'll be, driving them around and spending lots of gas. And nowadays, gas is pretty darn expensive. You'll be spending time away with your family because you'll be showing property out in the field, out in the city. So you'll be spending, hoping that at the end of the rainbow there is a commission there waiting for you. Now, who pays the commission? Well, this is how it works. Typically, the seller pays the commission. Now, you have a seller here, you have a buyer here. Typically, the seller will pay the commission. And typically in a balanced market, the commission is 6%. And what we do is this, with that 6%, we cut it in half, which means 3% will go to the seller's agent, the listing agent, and 3% will go to the buyer's agent. And that's typically how it's done. Now let's assume the home that you just purchased is a $1 million listing, $1 million. And you get it into escrow, and you're anticipating 3% on one side, whether you're the seller's agent or the buyer's agent. So you're anticipating 3%, let's do the math. 3% of $1 million is what? Yeah, you guessed it, $30,000. Again, keyword here is you're anticipating that you're going to close a deal. You don't get a penny of it unless it's closed. Done, finito, recorded, over and out. Anticipation is okay, but the goal here is to close a deal. Now, once you close a deal, here comes that $30,000 into your corner, whether it's the seller side or the buyer side. $30,000 is there, not quite done. You don't just get a check for $30,000. You had an agreement when you joined the brokerage. And your agreement was very, very simple. The agreement was called an independent contractor agreement. And what you did is when you got to the broker's office, you said, Mr. Broker or Mrs. Broker, owner, I'd like to work for your company. What commission split will I receive when we close a deal? Now let's assume it's 70%, 30%. The agent gets to keep 70%. The brokerage will take 30%. Let's go back to our example. There's $30,000 sitting here at the table. I get to keep 70% of that. Do the math. What's 70% of $30,000? $21,000. And that check will go to you. Minus a few fees here and there, but $21,000 will go right to you. Now that's typically how it's paid. Now, who's the one that created all this commission to be paid out to the realtors? Typically, 99.999% of the time, the sellers pay the commission. Hope this helps out. Hope you understand that getting into a transaction is exciting. The anticipation is very, very exciting. But the goal, of course, is to get paid. And the only time you're going to get paid is if you close a deal. Glad you visited our video blog. If you have any recommendations or questions or concerns that you would like for us to discuss, leave them down below in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Hope to see you next week.